Good morning. This is today's class on production and operations management for MA 2000 paper MA 2003 second step. Now, what is network analysis? We are continuing on network analysis and going the last part of network analysis, that is project crashing or network. What is network compression or crashing? Crashing actually means that we are shortening the total number of days that has been calculated under the critical path method. The crashing, in other words, a project actually shortens the normal duration of the project schedule. However, the costs that are incurred on that increases, and this is the only option that is available to shorten the time of the project. Now, why there are various options to or various options how do we accelerate the activities. Now we can improve productivity of the resources. How do you improve productivity of the resources? That means by consuming less amount of time and by working more. Changing the working method employed by altering technology. Now we can introduce, say, new technology. A new technology will bring automated or semi-automated machines that may reduce the actually work time of the workers or the laborers. Most common method is increasing project resources. However, the third option is the most common option that is used. That is adding number of resources and working longer. Now, the number of resources means we are adding either to the number of the workers, we are adding more capital methods, and we are employing the same number of workers to work longer, that is overtime and weekends. However, all these involves overtime and weekends involves more and more higher costs. That is, each of these methods, they involve more and more costs, and each of these costs, they actually have an implication on the project total cost overrun. Now, why do we crash a project? Now, to avoid late penalties. Now, why are there late penalties? For example, if a particular project if you have done contract act or study under any contract, there is a clause that says, if there is a clause that the certain work must be completed within, say, 3 months from the day on which it is started, or within, say, 3 years from the date on which it is started, then for each and every day or month that the project is delayed, that the project is not completed, we must pay penalties, or we must pay a certain amount of money to the uh, mm, certain amount of money to the certain amount of money to the rate penalties, and you must pay a certain amount of money to the person for whom the contract or the contract is being performed, or the project is being undertaken, as a penalty or a fine, that the job was not completed within in due date. However, there might be also incentives. For example, in case of incentives, we know that there are monetary incentives for early completion of the project. This is generally happens mostly in the case of contract management. Now, whereas say if the job is performed within say the normal time of, say, 3 years, the person will get the full 100% amount of the contract on completion. If the job is completed within, say, 2.5 years, and the quality is the same, the contractor, the person who has person the contractor who has offered the contract to the contractor, may award him, say, a 5% bonus or a 10% bonus as per the clause available in the contract. That is why this is done to beat the competition. To beat the competition means, say, your competitor who is performing these kinds of works does the same kind of work in a within, say, 2.5 years. So if you are offering a 3-year time limit for a similar kind of a project or a similar kind of a work, then you might be landing your company or your organization into trouble. Because if I'm getting something done by paying a lesser amount or similar amount within 2.5 years, why should I get that thing done within 3 years? So that is, and that works also in the reverse way. If you can complete the work within 2.5 years instead of say 3 years, then people will be attracted more towards you. Because what happens is, the more time you are uh, holding a project, the more time you are delaying the project, the more time you will be delaying the proceedings of that particular company to operate the project, and so their competitors will be thrown out of the business if you are offering a lesser amount of time to do the same job. Now, options to accelerate activities. Uh, Cost slope. Now, the cost slope. What is the cost slope? Cost slope is crash cost. What is the crash cost? Crash cost means, say, we cannot actually totally remove an activity when you are crashing an activity. As we have seen in uh, critical path method, say A, B, C, D are four activities. We are trying to crash, say, activity B. However, although we can activity B to C, that is activity B will take say 6 days, and if we are crashing that activity, we are getting say 3 days amount of time. Now, when you are getting 3 days amount of time, what will happen is, when you are getting 3 days amount of time, what will happen is that activity B will be there, but instead of 6 days, it will take 3 days. But the cost for that doing for performing that activity will increase manyfold. Because since we are say employing more laborers, more workers, etc., to perform that job, the cost of that particular job will increase. And so we have the crash cost, which is greater than the normal cost. So crash cost minus normal cost, that is the time taken normally to perform an activity, divided by normal time minus crash time. Normal time is always the expected time, and that is minus the crash time, which is lower than the normal time. So this is the slow. So crash ratio is this formula. Now what happens is, we have this cost slope, or the y-axis we measure cost, and on the x-axis we measure time, and we just actually see where it is on the lowest in value. That is the crash cost minus normal cost divided by the normal time minus crash time. Whichever value is the lowest, we go for that particular value, and we usually crash that particular cost. However, we must note that the line, this particular cash cost line, that is crash point and normal point, we can see that the crash cost is higher in the crash point. However, the crash time is lower, and in case of the normal, the normal cost is lower. However, the normal time is higher. So this is a trade-off between cost and time, between cost and time. Now, as the line is a slope, or is a graph between the normal and the crash points, it is also understood that the project activity, we can speed up or we can increase the project up to a some degree less than the complete crash point, because you cannot completely crash a project, you cannot totally bring down to 0 days. We can decrease it to some time relative to the slope of the crash line. However, how much the crash line shows, we can bring that, and the less steeper the crash line, we adopt that much crash, we adopt that activity. For example, say if there are 2 or 3 activities, and we actually adopt a particular activity, we will adopt the that activity which has the lowest cost slope. We will continue this theoretical session in our next class. Thank you.